All right. Oh, we're going to have some fun today talking about Elon Musk and Bitcoin and all that stuff. So let's get started. Just before we do, remember my name is Andrew Stotts, and I'm happy to share some of my thinking out here. And also remember that you can drop anything in the chat if you've got any questions or comments. So today we're going to talk about uh, Elon Musk moving markets through social media. Now, remember, if you have any questions along the way, feel free to ask your questions in the chat, and I'll do my best to try to answer them. So let's get started. The top article of the day, a brief history of Elon Musk's recent market-moving tweets. So here we can see that markets start to move when Elon Musk tweets. We can see GameStop, Bitcoin, Dogecoin. Now, of course, being an old man like me, I usually call it Dodgy coin, but no highs, no lows, only Doji. And let's continue and see. The line between jokes and market manipulation is thin. Tesla has bought $1.5 billion worth of Bitcoins to achieve higher returns on excess cash. Before the investment became public, Elon Musk tweeted about Bitcoin. So far, regulators just haven't gotten involved. The value of Bitcoin jumped by 20% shortly after Elon Musk changed his Twitter bio to show only #Bitcoin. After his announcement buying, what is it? Doji coin, a cryptocurrency created as a joke for his son, the meme coin went up by 15%. Now, Elon Musk pushed hyped stocks even further. When WhatsApp announced changes in their privacy policy, Elon urged people to move to the messaging app Signal. You have Signal on your phone, I've got it on mine, and that share price skyrocketed. Elon Musk memes look to have pushed GameStop stocks to rise sharply. Now, let's look at the topic of the day then. Should we get on Elon Musk's rocket when he talks about the stocks of the day? Sometimes if it's too good to be true, it probably is. Hype can lead to the dangerous belief that you can get rich quickly in the market. Of course, some people do get rich quickly, but it's not a strategy. But at the point where institutional investors exit, it's often the retail investors who lose all. Schemes where people are pumping up the share price and then later exiting, meaning dumping, is the typical pump and dump type of scheme. So let's evaluate Elon Musk's behavior from an ethical perspective. The CFA Institute has developed ethics standards that became widely adapted by financial professionals and institutions. Standard 2B of the ethics guidelines states that one must not engage in market manipulation. Now, of course, these guidelines are for CFA charter holders, so you could say, well, Elon Musk is not a CFA charter holder, not that I know. Let's dig down further into Standard 2B. Market manipulation includes the dissemination of false information or action that deceives or is likely to deceive or mislead market participants. And that oftentimes, that second one is when individuals or companies may be buying and selling stocks back and forth to try to create volume in a stock. Now, spreading rumors with the awareness of influencing the market appears to be a clear violation. So that's a little bit about the ethics of it. Let's look at the meme of today. John W. Rich, wealthy tech executive, said, "Send me 1 Bitcoin and I'll send you back 2 Dogecoins." And Jeff said, "How do I know this is real, Mr. Rich?" And Mr. Rich says, "Have I ever been convicted of securities fraud more than 5 times? No." So a little bit of teasing and harassment there, but let's now wrap it up. The key points: Elon Musk has proven that simple social media posts from an influential person can distort asset prices. From an ethical perspective, disseminating information to influence prices usually is a violation of ethics. When a hype stock or crypto plummet, retail investors are likely to face the losses. Pump and dump is one of the oldest games in the book. So what's the bottom line? Do your research and avoid getting caught up in the hype. Now, for those of you that want to see how I pick stocks, you can download my free checklist here by scanning that QR code and then checking it out. So let's see if we have any. All right. We've got a few questions. Let's go into some questions. What would happen to Tesla if these virtual currencies suddenly tanked? What would the SEC do about it? Well, actually, if the cryptocurrencies tank, now, as of right now, remember that we have current assets and long-term assets. Bitcoin is being accounted for as a long-term intangible asset. And that means that unlike if it was it's not really short-term cash in that sense. And in this case, if Bitcoin prices crash, what's going to happen is they'll have to write down the value of that asset. So if you bought 1.5 billion and it crashes by 500 billion or 500 million, then they're going to have to write it down to the value of 1 billion. Now, I don't have offhand the amount of assets or cash that they have at Tesla, but the answer to the question is that shareholders would suffer a bit from that, but probably not a huge amount because it's a small amount relative to their overall balance sheet. Now, the next question is, what would the SEC do about it? Well, up until this point, it seems like the SEC is not doing a whole lot when it comes to this, Bitcoin and pumping these types of things. So I'm going to go back so you can see my face here. All right. So I'm not sure if the SEC will do much about that. Now, Mike, a second question from Mike was, wasn't Elon Musk already warned earlier about his social media activity? Yes, he was warned. There was one case where I believe he was, I can't remember the exact situation that happened, but definitely he was warned at that point. Social media is a really dangerous place. It's kind of interesting because as a fundamental analyst in Thailand, as I am, I'm licensed and under a lot of restrictions, whereas people can go out on Facebook and kind of say anything. So the SEC here, as well as anywhere, is struggling to figure out how to handle that. All right, Alice in Silverland. I have this feeling that only physical Bitcoin is going to be worth something. So you have to have the mining rigs, and it was a big way to steal money from the rich back. Yeah, possibly. All right, good. So hopefully that gives you a little bit of fun and things to think about. If you got further questions, just leave them in the chat, and then I'll come back to you. And if you got other topics that you'd like to see talked about, do let me know. And finally, I'll just say, for those people that want to see how I pick stocks, download my free checklist. Obviously, if you can't scan this, you can just take a picture of it, and then you can upload it. All right. Have a great day.